everyone. Welcome to another day of awesome FileMaker training. I am Richard Carlton here and at fmtrain.tv. And it's been a couple weeks since I've talked to you folks. It's been awesome. Very exciting times on my end. Back in the saddle a little bit. Actually, ended up working quite a bit over Christmas. Going to be kind of funny. I want to welcome all of you to probably the last, Margaret, is this the last broadcast for 2022?
It is actually. This is the last one.
All right. So just as a reminder, everyone, I'm going to bring up the current website right here. Kind of a funny. I'll give you. So I'm here to talk about some news and things a little bit on the front end. Then we'll kick it over to Nick. So Claris announced that they were working on freemium, and there's been discussion about when that would come out. And I talked to Claris about, obviously, the information I'm giving to you is not supposed to be confidential. If it's confidential, then they change their mind about it being secret. But their plan is to do an initial release of freemium. Once again, freemium is the Claris platform. There will never be a free FileMaker platform version of this. Once again, this is the idea that there's two platforms in parallel, and over the next X number of years, probably between 3 and 5 years, somewhere in there, most people will be feel compelled to upgrade because there's new features they want to take advantage of. And so the two platforms run side by side. We're all good on this, yes? Okay, you folks are all following this, right? So there are two platforms. So people like me try to get to explain that there's two platforms, and one's called FileMaker and one's called Claris. Then people say, well, you're abandoning the FileMaker platform and all that. And it just, every time we have this conversation, this is what happens. Someone will be wondering what the hell happened to FileMaker. So when really nothing's happened to it, notwithstanding that, those shenanigans, there's supposed to be the freemium offering or the freemium license, which is not been finalized per se, or maybe it has been finalized. They haven't notified me. So the freemium should be coming out. It's going to be a lightweight offering release for the partners initially. And then at some point down the road, I would say probably in more than a month, maybe 2 months or 3 months, somewhere in that range next year, they are going to try to do the public freemium. That's the big one. That's the one we've been asking about for a long time. That's the one where it's on the Apple App Store and other places like that. So anyway, the product manager wanted to have this stuff all shipped out the door before Christmas. If they ship it right now, they're screwed because there won't be anyone to answer questions or interact with it. Because they have Apple employees, if they haven't taken off, they'll be taking off today or yesterday or whatever. I still had some of them emailing me. So there is big news on that end. They have started working on 19.7, although they're not really sure they're going to call it 19.7. With the next iterative product in it, and they're continuing to expand on that kind of transaction-y thing they were playing with last time. That seems to be an area of interest. It's got all the early testers up in a froth about it, not in a good way. So we'll see what happens with that, but it's early days on that. But they're always working on the next, every 3 months, every quarter, so you get a new update to FileMaker. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Nick, you want to share your screen? And then
Yep.
Your face, you are an orange person. Are you?
Yeah, I know. My face, I try to, I'm fighting with my computer since you start talking, and so it keep quitting. I don't know why. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what happened with this. Sometime. So let's share my screen. Yeah. So yeah, I'm fully on the idea of this new morphism stuff. Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. You like that. Well, Phil, you guys should buzz if you want him to cover some of that. If not, then just no buzzing at all. You don't need a buzz. But Nick, do we need to ship your buzzer thing back to you in Columbia? You left it in Stockton, right?
Yeah, I left it over there. Right? Yes. Yeah. I can buy one. I saw one like 2 days ago, so I can buy one.
You need one for your audience. You need to know.
Yeah, well, okay, I will buy one. Okay, guys, so thank you for the boss to come join us sometimes. We always appreciate his introduction, laughable, and putting some good ambience in that show. Okay, so so today we're going to do. So am I sharing my screen? Yes. Yeah.
You are.
So yeah. So. Margaret, so we good to add 3 more days on this?
Yes, I will add 3 more days. There'll be a big reshuffling, but I will add 3 more days. Yes.
Yeah, because I realize that I'm a little bit behind my schedule, and I want to talk about things, but I want to take my time to make sure that that is understood by everybody, right? By the largest audience. I don't just want to dump things like this and say, okay, deal with it, right? So I want to explain things, right? So today we go further on the things, and so I'm going to open Discord and I can see what happened there. So today we're going to follow up this okay, Discord. Okay, so we follow up on this series of relationships. So yesterday we saw the cross-reference table. So far we discovered many things under Anchor Buoy, and I hope that I'm deciphering many things for you guys on this what's the name, Anchor Buoy business, right? Because I know it's it makes the thing very, very different, right? So when you used to create relationship and go across 2-3 level and and everything works for you, but then at one point you realize that everything is slow, everything works, but everything is so slow, everything's super complicated. So today I want to cover something. So we're going to add 3 more days. So everything that I want to talk about, we will talk about at some point. So today I want to talk about how to trigger, and how to work with auto entry calculation throughout relationship, right? And I'm going to cover up. Also, I'm going to cover how we can use that throughout using a PSOS, right? So trigger PSOS, and then you have the server doing all the update for you, right? And that is cool, right? So I want to talk about the auto entry calculation and how we can trigger auto entry calculation, right? So let's say here, so yesterday we connected task with projects, right? So we said that we have a project. So let's go to project here. Okay. So we have a project like this, and then we added a task module, right? So we have now we have task. So where's my stuff here? I have a layout where I have a boom, 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 task. Okay, so I have task, right? And I have also the project here attached to the to the personnel, right? So I have the personnel of that task, and then for each task here, that is for projects, right? So this project. I could have done the other way around, that to projects, have tasks and stuff like that, but it's okay. So I prefer to do that way. So here we have projects, right, attached to those things, right? But now, right, I can, with this, right, I can attach the task with the personnel, right, to the project, right? So I can say here, right, I can come here and let's delete this, right? Let's add we are going to create a new relationship. I want now to see all the people working on that project, right? So I'm going to do that, right? So I'm going to put this and I'm going to say, okay, right? I want all the people working on that project, okay? But remember, we had a cross-reference table, right? We had a cross-reference table here where we said that the task, that the personnel, and that the project. So I am going to point to that table, right? So I'm going to go there, task and contacts, okay? So, and thanks to that table, I am going to take the list of everything I have related to that project. And to do so, I'm going to use the ID of the project. So you see, all the time, when you have all the IDs on the table that needs to have all the ID together. So we can play with it, right? We can connect the cross-reference table to the task. I can connect the cross-reference table to the contacts, right? So I can connect everything with everything, pretty much. When we have the IDs of everything when well placed, right? So here in that table here, I have, so let's call it, I have the ID, the foreign key of the projects, right? On all the record of this. So now I can do this and I can say, okay, I want project with project, right? So that's what I want. So now if I go to here, I can use that relationship, right? And I can say, I want the contact name and the date. So this is what I want to know, right? So when I do this now, here, I have all the personnel related to those projects, right? So here I have only a few people, but I can add more, okay? So let's say I want to add, which project I'm in? I'm project 1. So let's make this project 1, for example, right? Project 1, and I can add another one if I want here, right? So I can add another project 1, right? And with another contact, right? So I can go there and say, I want this guy, okay? Right? Want this guy. So now I have 2, project 1, and we have 2, I think. Project 1, project 1, project 1. Why I don't have it? Okay. So now I have all these people. I know all these people are working for that project, okay? But as we can see here, again, I have no connection between all those things, right? So I know the people, right? And I know everything I need to know here, right? So now what I want to do, right? I want to use an auto entry calculation, and I want to know the task, all the tasks that I have for all projects, okay? So I want to count those tasks. I want to count this, right? So I want to have here in projects, right? I want the number of tasks, okay? Number of tasks. So that's what I want to do, right? It's a number. And here I'm going to use an auto entry calculation, okay, to do so. So I'm positioning myself where I should be positioned, okay? So I want to position myself here because this is where I want the calculation to start. I want the calculation to start in the project, and I want this to count this, okay? So I want this to show me the number of people, tasks that I have here, right? So I'm doing this. I'm going there and say, okay, I'm positioning here. So this here, the context, right? As I said, as I demonstrated yesterday, but I'm going to show that better today. It's all the occurrences, right, where the auto entry calculation will start, So here I want to position myself under 202 projects. This is where I want to come. And here, see here, it shows you the current table, right? So because I am in TO2 project and the related table. If I change this and I'm positioning myself here, for example, I'm going here and you see all the connection that I have if I'm positioning myself here, right? So this drives where you position yourself, where you're going to position the calculation, right? So what I want the counts, okay, of this. And that is the reason why I am always putting a primary key in every single table. This is one of the reasons. Why? Because if I have a field where I am sure that I will always have something inside, I can count on that field, okay? I can count on to get something out of it. That means, for example, here, I want to get the count of that field. That means count will say, okay, I found records, and I found something in that record, so it will count that as one, okay? And this, right, is doing pretty much the same as doing this. Value count of the list of this. It's the same, but this much more complicated, right? So let's show you. Let's copy those two. Let's get this here. Oops, I need this to be up. Okay. So if I go there, just to show you how this works, okay? So if I say, let's comment it out this. The value count of lists of this, because this is, okay, this will give you only the first record found in all the related records, that the first in that relationship. This will get the list of all the records found, right, in that relationship. And this will say how many values I have in that list, which is free. All of this is the same if you do this, but much simpler and much faster, because here you have two embedded function, okay? I saw also people to count the number of records they put a field where they always have one in that field, and then they can count that field, right? They can say, okay, sum of that field. You know, they use a sum, you know, sum, and the field say there's one, and then you get, okay, I saw that, but that is even worse. You have a field. So if you want to count the number of records on a related basis, this is how you do. You need to make sure you have a field where you have something, whatever. It can be a date, whatever, you know, a field where you show you have something, and use the count on this. This will count the records found with something in that field throughout this relationship. Okay, so that's what I wanted to demonstrate. Okay, so now I have the count here, so I can go there and say, okay, I want to add this field here, number of tasks. No, so I'll go there. So this is the number of tasks. Okay, but this is where, so here, and now it says nothing, right? So I know people says, okay, let's put that as a unstore calculation, right? So go there and say, okay, let's put that on the unstore calc, right? And everything fine. So now it will work. Boom. But it's an unstore calc. It's nasty, okay? It's an abomination, like the boss says. So we don't want that. You know, we want an auto entry calculation. But that's a problem here with the auto entry calculation. From here, even if I'm changing this, there's no way the auto entry calculation will be triggered. Okay? No way. Absolutely no way. And we have the first problem we have here is how to trigger that. Okay? So how to make sure you trigger that. And we have another problem. Is the change will occur here, right? The change will occur on that table. The change will occur when I'm going to be in that world, okay? How can I trigger that here, right? This is how we do. Oh, why I click OK. I'm going to use a field I call trigger. Okay, that's the trigger, right? In every single table I have in my development, I have a trigger. I have a field. Sometimes I have many, and I'm going to explain why. This trigger, and I put the last modification. Okay, so why? And it's a timestamp, right? In every single table I have, right? I put that. It's a field. It's a timestamp. Why a timestamp? Because it's useful for debugging, right? And it helps many times to figure out what's going on when you have a complicated construction. So why I putting that field? Okay, because I want to use this to trigger their auto entry calculation. Here I have no way to trigger this. No way. You know, this will never be triggered because it's involved a related record, a related table. So it will never work, you know, never. To work, okay, I need to use the let statement, and I'm saying trigger equal, and I'm using the trigger field. So why? Because this is how auto entry calculation works. If you have a calc, right, and inside that calc, you have at least one field that you are modifying that is part of the current table, okay, that will fire up the calculation, right? So I'm using this, and I'm going to show you. So if I put that field in my layout, and look what happened here. I'm here, and I'm putting the timestamp of now, right? And I'm validating this. Boom. The free is there. It comes. Why? Because this field is part of this table here, and this calculation here. Inside, I have this in the statement. There's nothing to do with the calculation itself, with the function here. But that is only to fire up the calculation. I'm using this to fire up this. Okay? So now, something so you need to know. That's good, you know. But what happened? What happened if I want to, you know, to fire up this, right? But from here, right? And from here, I have absolutely no way, you know, in that table, I have the project ID here, right? For that, but I have no way to do that, right? I have no way to modify this. I have no way to go, right? And to fire up their, you know, this relationship, right? This stuff here. And here you can see I have many, I have two projects here, project 1, project 2 involved here. And I want to update all of those things, right? I want to update all, right? So this is how we do that. So I want to, you know, show you that in the right way. When we are on the server, okay, the best way to do this, right, is to use a perform script on server. right? So how we do that, I'm going to show you. And that is really part of the anchor buoy kind of technique here, because I have no relationship, but I have no need of relationship. I have no need of this, okay? No need. Okay. Okay, there's two ways we can do that. We can use we can use that, but the first way, let me show you the first way. Let's say here, I have this ID project here, this ID project. And I want also, I want this to be filled with all the project ID I have here, right? So let me explain slowly. Here I have two projects, right? So let's put another one just for fun. And let's take this guy here, another guy. Okay. So, and put the date here. Okay. So I have three times the project one. I have project two, project three. Okay. And I want, okay, to use, so I told you there's two techniques to update this, right? So I'm going to show you the first and the second with pieces. The first, what I want to do, I want to get inside this field, I want to get all the IDs of that guy here. But remember that the same problem here. We have a problem here because I want that to be an auto entry calculation as well. Okay. So we do this and we say, okay, give me the list. So first of all, we start with here, because we in T03, we in T03, start from here and give me the list in that table of all the project ID. So if I'm going there, right, if I'm going there, let me show you. I'm going there. I have all the IDs of that project. Okay. So I have three times the same because, right, we have multiple times the same project and this and this. Okay. But I want this here. And we have no way to trigger this, because even if I add another project here, it's not triggering, right? It's not firing this. Okay. So let me see if I can I delete this? Okay. So let's delete this. Okay. So we have no way, to do this. So we use the same technique of this. We create, that's why I'm saying I have this field in every single of my tables. Because now I can say, by the way, I want to use the same technique of the trigger to get the list of this, right? So now I have no problem to get that list, okay? Because I have my trigger. Going there, getting my trigger, right? And I'm doing this. Boom, bam. So I have, my trigger working on this. So now I have all the ID of projects. Okay, all the ID of projects I have. So now with this list, right? So you remember at the beginning of this program, this webinar, I explained to you how the multiple values, multi-value relationship works. That means you can have multiple values in one field, right? And that's why normally, I don't call that IDF project because it's not really. It's a link, okay, of project IDs, right? Because I'm going to use that, right, in a relationship to get things done. But I have many IDs in one field. That's why I'm not using that as IDF, because there is not IDF. They are foreign keys, but there's many IDs. So I use that technique to tell me, in that one you have many, right? It's a way I have to remind me that in that field I have many, which is the case, right? So that's why I named that way. Okay. So now I can use that and do the trick I need to do. Now that I have all the list of the ID, the list of IDs here, I can easily add a new relationship here, right? And say, this is a B, and I'm going to projects, right? With, and the ID, right? The ID here will be the main key of the project. Okay. So now with this, I can link all the ID of the project here to the project. Okay. So now I have the task linked to project. And you see, I don't mix up world together. I'm creating my connection directly here, right? So now, with the tickling, that's why this is, the tickling technique, I have 3 projects, right? 3 projects. So let's show. I have 3 projects, and I want to show you this. Where's the number of tasks? Okay. So let's clean up this. This is a number of tasks here. So that's the field we need to look for. Okay. What happened if I say this? I have a button here, and I'm calling update. Of course, all of this is automatic normally, right? You have, but to the demonstration, I want to show you that, so I need to show. I have a replace field. I'm going to in the project table, and I'm replacing the trigger, right, with the current timestamp. Oops. At my button. Update. So we have no relationship between worlds, okay? And I have no install calculation whatsoever. What I'm doing here, I click update, and nothing happened. See, yes, okay, sorry. 311. It updated it. Right? I do it again. I'm going there. Boom. And it comes. Right? So we can do that with a mere replace, the relationship with multiple values here, right, will automatically go to the project. So if I go there and I show you the list of projects I have here, okay? So all the, the list of, if I go there and I say the list of all the project, list of B, and I want all the project. This is all the project I have linked to that task, thanks to that relationship here with the multiple values here, right? If I add another project like this one, right, with this guy, right, and again, I update, my trigger. So now I have one more, and then I'm updating this, and I say, boom, it will come here, right? It comes. So from that world, I can go there, right? Thanks to that relationship, I'm updating a field in that here. I'm updating the field from here using that relationship. But it is this calc here that is going to do the count. So this in the project table, this field got updated using that relationship. And because I updated this here is going to be updated using another relationship. This is how you avoid all those multiple relationships together and stuff like that. You use the common logic. That means you update the list of ID in that table, local. You put the IDs inside this. Then, using that trigger update that. And then, using this relationship, right, you update the field inside the project. And thanks to another relationship, and because I'm using that field in that calculation using the TO2B, I'm going to get the counts. Okay? I'm not saying that that's the best way to do this, in that particular case, but it's to show you the technique, right? That's why I'm using this. So do we have any question, Margaret?
Yes, we have actually a lot of questions. So the first one is kind of long, so I'm going to read it. Hi, Nick. Following yesterday's part 5, I'm a bad person because I have 3 levels of anchor buoy. I understand you prefer to create a lookup field in a table instead of creating a 3rd level of table occurrence. I agree that text/number is very light, but what about container? For example, in each estimates lines, I want to show the thumbnail of the product. I'm already using external storage for the logo container, but having a lookup field for the logo and estimates lines will increase a lot of the database. Will increase a lot of the size of the database. What's your advice?
Okay. If you display containers in a portal, even with the smallest container, the smallest icon possible, right? The smallest photo possible, it will be slow. So it's a trade-off. What do you want? When I say slow, it will be cranky. Cranky will be like this. When you scroll, you have a time out, right? A time boom like this, and then a boom, and like it won't be fluid. Okay, it won't be fluid at all. You can try whatever you want. My technique will be this. Let's open FM starting point. The master. Oh, why? Keep going. Okay. So, because we have in contact, we have icons, right? So we have photos normally. I don't know if I have here. I might not have photos here, but we don't have photo. Where we have photos, maybe in UI UX design. Sorry, I wasn't exposed. So yes, we have here. So in the contact here, we have photos, right? So, but this is local. So I don't know if I have in my server. Do I have yeah, I have this one, but I don't have I have no, okay. So here what I'm doing, to do that. So like this, for example, you have an icon here, like a photo, right? And I have directly the contact of the content. But when you have a cross-reference table, right? So that's the point. That's what you asked for. So let's go where we have it. We have here a cross-reference table. This is the cross-reference table. So we have an example. Here, I have the photo inside the cross-reference table. And how I'm using this, so I'm going to xref1, I have the photo, right? And I'm taking directly the photo like this. That was not good. Not for your example is not good. What you need to do is this, low res. Okay. Okay. So you have a low resolution of that photo. It is not a lookup. It is an auto entry calculation. And then, right, you say you want the get thumbnail, what is the, get thumbnail, okay, of that field. So I'm starting from the anchor, because you can see here we know the anchor. The anchor is the one in capital character. That's why I'm using the capital character for my anchors, right? You understand? So if you go there, we have always capital character, capital, they're all capital. Because when you hear and you want to select something, oh, this one is the anchor. Is the main anchor for that table, okay? So you want the get thumbnail of that field. Oh, I have a low res here, but it's okay. Yeah, because no, yeah. So of that field, contact, and we want the photo, right? So we want that field. So I'm starting from 11. I'm going to B, which is related, in the contact, and I say I want 200 and 200, or even 100. That's enough. 100. So very tiny. So that will be a very tiny version. It's 100 pixels for 100 pixels. So that will be very, very tiny. Okay. So you do this. Okay. So, okay. When you do this, so let's put the low res version of this. Okay. So now I have the low res version. It's empty, it's empty because I don't have it. If I create a new guy and I'm adding contact with photos, like this guy, where's the photo? Okay, here, this guy, and this guy. Okay. I have three contacts, right? Those three contacts here. So if I'm saying I want those three contacts, boom, now here in that table, the cross-reference table, I have, in this cross-reference table here, I have a low resolution of that file. So I have no idea how much that will, the cost in, but we can do it. Let's export this, right? And automatically open it. So what the weight on this is 12K. So you see, you have 12K. So before to load your, before to load your computer, it's a trade. If you want to be fast, you need to do this. If you don't care, if you have cranky like this, right? Then do the, you do the nasty job, which would be like this, go to the third level and take the photo, right? That nasty, because you go, it was contact photo or something like this. What's the name? Contact photo. I don't remember where's the photo here. Okay. Anyway, so you understand what I mean. So you can go to the third level because we are here. So you go to this one and this one to get the photo. That is nasty. That will be super slow. That will be super slow. So yeah, let's go to the next question. Are you satisfied, Lalit?
He's typing.
Oh, il est français en plus.
Thank you very much. I assume that's a
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
What from Dimok this time? What is the difference, and why do you position to make your auto enter start from the anchor, and why don't you start from the buoy?
Because it's not. Yeah. So guide me here in your example, please. Why I should start on the buoy? Well, you want to start here, right? Yeah. Okay. Demo. It's for the demo of how to do things, right? So, you mean by pointing from this guy to this guy to get this done, right? I don't see how we can do that, right, by the way. It's always logic. It's a style. It's a coding style. It's an habit. It's discipline. It's a technique, or whatever you want to call it. I'm starting from the anchor to the buoy. Always, because it's logical. You go back to mother. You go back to mother to go to this, and then you go to the child, right? So it will be the same, because a relationship in FileMaker are interchangeable. They're on both sides. You can start from here and go there, and go start there, go there. It's the same thing. Okay. So question: I recently used the remote trigger technique, and I needed to use it in a lot of fields. I felt like on the edge of getting out of control. Is that the technique, the way to keep track of all the remote trigger, and when need to be? Okay, good question too. As always, by the way, Stu always had good questions. That's why sometimes I have, this and this and this. Sometimes I have multiple trigger, because sometimes, okay, why I'm using that technique, by the way, sometimes I need calc to be updated first, right? And then when they get updated, I need another rifle of a auto entry to be updated, triggered based on the first round. You know what I mean? So I have a first round of auto entry, right? So I said, okay, this one, let's say this one is under the field 1, so I have this is the trigger 1, okay? trigger one here. And then I have another one, but this one here, let's say, I have a let's statement here, and I said, I want this to be on trigger 2, okay? So I want the second trigger to go there, right? So now this one won't be triggered with this, but it will be triggered with using this one. You understand, too? So I understand what you mean, because sometimes you need to control, and that's why this trigger technique is awesome, because you have no way to do the same level of control using lookup. For example, how you can say, oh, look up this, but don't look up this. How if they use the same key, for example, those two use the same key. If you update this and this get updated. But with the trigger technique, you can say, okay, first you update the calc with this one, and then you update the calc, you update the one with that calc, right? Right, Stu? Do you like it?
Da, 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 da.
So Daimok, what the different positioning? No, that's to follow up with Daimok. No, there's no difference whatsoever here. But it depends where, yeah, you can do it. It's the same. If you stay in the 1-2 level, okay? If you stay always in that level like this, you can do this and this. You can do whatever you want until it makes sense, right? I knew it was French. I always add a suffix to the field name, know which field is concerned. Yeah, exactly. Look, you can use the naming convention you want. You can use all the thing you want, right? But first it needs to make sense. Secondly, it needs to be very simple, right? Very straightforward, and that's why it's to use a count, for example, like this. No need of a one, like I said earlier, and here, using multiple trigger like this to get the ID moved, like I've done here, like I've done in the like I've done in the task here, right? So I use a trigger to move this, right? And then from here, I have another trigger that go and update this. So now, yes, mine wasn't quite that complex, but I had many fields that all triggered at once. I sometimes forgot that I needed to trigger it. Maybe have a different triggers might help simplify. Yeah, I don't know, Stu. It's depending on the concept, on the context and stuff like that. I know that sometimes I need one field to get updated first, and then I need another rifle of auto entry calculation based on the first round. So I'm using that 2-level things. Otherwise, if you don't have this, you can just trigger the same, right? Sometimes it could be useful to use that technique of 1, 2, 3 levels in terms of performance. Sometimes it's not necessary to update everything, right? If you have a large table, you have a lot of auto entry calculation that goes all over the place. Maybe it's not necessary to update everything, but I want to show you. I know it's a little bit late, but it's the last webinar of the year. So I want to finish what I want to say. So there's another technique here for you guys, like Stu, you have a complex, you have a lot of things going on, and you don't want to use a local replace. You don't want to use a replace local, right? Right? You don't want to use that because you have a lot of going on, and you will, if you do this, right? You will, and even though simple, it takes some time to do it. Like, it takes, look, it's not, see, it takes some, and I have the spinning wheel. Look, I'm doing nothing really, really hard, it's nothing, but doing that techniques, look, I click here and now it's done. See? And I have what? 4 records and 5 IDs, right? So that means everything happened locally. And we know that when things happen locally, it doesn't work well. Okay. So what can we do? First of all, when you want to find something, let's say I want to find all those what's the name? IDs here, right? All those projects, I want to find them using perform find. Good luck. Good luck. It won't work. We know that. So how we can do to tell the server you want to update this, okay? You want to do what I've done here, but on server. Very easy. So we still use this local trigger to get the ID here because this is instant. This is, you won't even feel it. You won't even feel it. When you say boom, we feel nothing. Because it's there. It's just a bunch of ID. Replace something else. Replace is much. So we can use that technique here to get the ID. So now I want to create, this is update local. And this is updates on server. Haha. So this is bad. This is good. Okay. Okay. So I want to update on server. Very simple. A very simple way. First, we need a script that will trigger, we cannot, you know that, right? We cannot perform a script on server from this at this level. We need a script to perform script on server. So, replace on server, right? Replace on server. And we have another script, which is a pieces that go with it. Okay. That the pieces that actually do the replacement server. And this one is performing on server, perform on server, this one. Okay. So this, I'm going to fire up this script here. Right. And this script here will perform the script on server. But now what I want to send over there my list of ID. I need my list of ID. So what I'm doing in the parameters, I'm putting this as parameters. So now in my server, I said, okay, yes, perform that script, but get the script parameter, So yes, I know I could have point that directly to this. I could have said use this. I could have said that. I could, but I don't. I have my reason. And next year you will know the reason. But now that I have this, okay, what do I want this stuff? You remember I talked to you that I need layouts. I call context. So I need layouts that I call context, right? And what is this context layout, right? It's a layout. It's a layout. And it's a table view. And I want that to go to this layout to point to the project. And this, it's the context. It's the T02 projects context, right? And in this one, I'm showing two fields. I could have shown nothing, but this layout here has no triggers, nothing. It's a pure virgin, simple layout like this, right? So I want to go there, right? But first, remember, I'm sending parameters here. So I'm going to do set variable, and this is list of project IDs, right? So always I'm using, the name that give me information. It's IDs. There's many, right? And this is the get script parameter. Okay. So this script sends this, and here I'm taking the script parameter back. Here I'm sending, and here I receive. So now that I'm here, I'm saying go to layout, and the server will go to that layout I'm using for that purpose. This is a layout. I'm not going to enter data here. It's just a layout that I'm going to point to in the server to be on the right context. That's why I call that context. I need to be on TO2 to work. Otherwise, you won't work. Okay? And now what I'm doing, I need to find those 4, 5, 10 projects. So what do I do? Okay. In the project table, and once again, this is something I have in every single table that matter. Okay. I have a link like this, transfer, right, of, transfer IDs or whatever you want to call it. And this, okay, is a global. So I have this field. It's a global field. And now I'm going here and I say, okay, I'm going to point to itself an occurrence that will tell me, okay, I'm receiving 5 IDs and show me those 5 ID of itself, of yourself, of projects, right? So that's why it's pointing to itself. This is projects. No. Okay, projects. No problem. And the key is the parent key of project. So, and this is C, by the way. And all the ID of projects, the project ID, all the ID I'm receiving here, I want this to be linked there. And now get this. Okay. I am in that layout. Then I'm setting a field. I'm setting this field with the list of projects. And then I'm saying, go to record. I am TO2 project. I want to use that one because, right, thanks to the list of IDs, it will constrain, build a font set on itself using only those IDs. So now I have a kind of a technique here that I want to show you. If get last error, that means if something wrong, Alt, stop everything. Otherwise, do what I want to do. Because the goal of this, I got the ID, go to the layout, set the field, get the font set, and now I want to replace the field of the content of the trigger with the get timestamp. So it's the same as doing this. Where's the layout? I have so many layout. Where's the layout? Here. No, it's okay, but let's go there. It's the same as this one, but this one, I'm saying go to projects from here and replace, replace the thing. Here I'm saying go to project, get me all the records I need based on that list, and then replace the timestamp. Do whatever this is doing, right? So let's see if it works. Boom. Let's get away this. Boom. Right? I didn't feel anything, and I could have been faster because I don't need that. I don't need to wait. I don't need to wait. Oops. I don't need to wait because it's okay. It will update itself, right? So, I don't need to wait for anything, right? That will come at one point, right? That will come at that point, okay? So, right? So update here, right? So I go there, boom, and I didn't feel anything, boom, right? So, and I didn't feel anything. So now, right? So now, if you want to do something like this to work, okay, it's easy because the concept here, and I don't have interconnection like this, right? I have this relationship to get, the link of the transfer link here, the projects, right? And I'm doing a replace on the thing here, right? On the TO2 project, the trigger one, I've replaced it with the git. So I find this, and then I do this, right? Yeah, we need that because you see, that's why I was wondering why. Match current record on this. So here it was updating. Here it was updating everything, right? It was updating all because it was getting me all the records, So now it will work better. If I do this, it will update on only those. This not because I said only show me only. I forgot to do that. Only match current record only. So if we have question, I don't see anything on Discord. Do we have question?
I think we're good. So we are good. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your New Year's. We'll see you in 2023. Thank you very much.
Yes, 2023. Thank you, guys. Have a good Joyeux Noël. Happy, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. And that's it. Everything. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
individual up here who maybe a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!